2 weeks ago, you did 100,000 in a single week. 14 months ago, you did 100,000 in the entire year. At PaintCon, I was trying to tell you like, dude, go for 3 million, go for 3 million. And you're like, no, 1.5.
Yeah. Surround yourself with people who are where you want to be. Each coach is good at different things. You can have every single piece of your business is working, but if you can't produce it right, your customers aren't going to be happy and your business is going to go from here and it's going to just tank. Do an extra phenomenal job for the customer and raise your price because you're the only one who's doing it. Even if you're a few $100 higher, or even if you're $1,000, $2,000 higher, they're going to go with you every day. It's not about price. Now we'll probably hit 1.8. We might hit 2, but that's just because of what.
What's going on, guys? Jensen here, back with the Forward Thinking podcast. And today we got an extremely forward thinker. We got Mr. Ryan Pettis out of Minnesota. So Ryan, if you don't know him, he is 21 years old?
20, just turned 20 a few months ago.
Even better, 20 years old. And in the last 12 months, he did something absolutely incredible. He took his business from doing 100,000 per year to 2024. He did over $1.2 million in the last 12 months. So today I'm going to pick apart how Ryan did it, some learnings that you can take away, and then also a little bit of extra resources at the end that Ryan's going to be providing to you. So before I kick it off, dude, Ryan, what's going on, bro? You just got back from Arizona. How was that?
It was awesome, man. Went down there with my girlfriend, got to see one of my mentors, Joel Mercado. He was at his Arizona location getting some stuff done. And I reached out, I was like, hey, I'm in town. Like, we should meet up. And got to meet up with him and take a few days. You're only down there for a few days, just get to relax before the busy spring starts up. So we're pumped up in Minnesota. We're ready to go. And we had our little relaxed time. We're ready to hit it hard now.
Love that, dude. What's the year been looking like for you so far? Like, has it been pretty slow? Has it been picked up? Like, what's that been looking like?
Yeah, it started off a little bit slower. I was a little bit more nervous as we're looking to hire a salesperson coming into 2025. And the hardest thing for us was like cash flow. We went from 100K to 1.2. And to do that, you need cash flow to put out to other people, to bring people on, and all those expenses. And our sales were a little bit lower. Each month we were like 4 to 7K off of where we wanted to be. So it's like we're so close to our goal. Just an extra job or extra 2 jobs would have done it. And then last week we had, it was the week before, we had 100K week. So we sold 106,000 in 1 week. And that put us like way over our goal for sales. So now it's like, okay, we got to catch back up, figure out what we're going to do with all these projects and kind of go from there. So production or sales wise started off slow. We had a massive week. We're coming back in action, and production has been just crushing it, getting jobs produced and getting money back in so we can keep growing.
Crazy, dude. So 2 weeks ago, you did 100,000 in a single week. 14 months ago, you did 100,000 in the entire year.
I know, right? That's insane, man. I can't even believe it. Like, I don't know. I can barely believe it.
I love that. Well, better believe it, bro, because I got all those jobs to produce.
I know, right? We got work to do.
So, like, obviously, you're one of our clients. You won the Ford Media Millionaire Club Award at PaintCon. But what I respect most about you, number one, is your age, right? You're an absolute hustler. You're an absolute killer. Working with you, like, from 14 months ago to now, everything's changed about you, your business, your mindset, dude, your haircut, you got a beard now. Like, it's insane, man. Like,
it's growing in there.
You're killing it, dude. You're killing it. But what I love the most about you, dude, is how curious you are of, like, when we were in Orlando in May, you're like sitting me down, like asking me in the kitchen, like, dude, what's the process on this? What's the process on this? Like, I just love how curious you are. And you just take your ego out of so many situations and you just ask the right questions to the right people. Would you say that that's a big reason why you've been able to grow so much?
I think one of the biggest things is that who you surround yourself with. I think I talked a little bit about this a few weeks ago, but I think about it as cheerleaders and coaches. And either you're hanging out with cheerleaders who say, oh, you did 100K in a week, or you did 1.2 million. Dude, you went from 100K to 1.2 million. That's awesome. Congratulations. And then they keep saying, congratulations. That's crazy. How'd you get there? Or do you have coaches in your life that say you went from 100K to 1.2 million? That's great. Good job. Don't get me wrong. But now you need a plan, and we need to do more, and we need to keep growing this thing. Versus people who sit back and are like, it's okay. And finding out people who are where you want to be allows you to sit down with them and ask them those questions and things that are going wrong in your business. And you tell them, hey, this is what's going on in the business. These are things that are kind of going wrong. They can foresee those problems that are going to happen in 3 months and 6 months and a year. And they can say, do it this way, do it that way. And it's one point to be curious. It's one point to ask questions, to hear the answers. But if you don't do anything with it, you're not going to go anywhere. So when you ask questions and you look for people for advice, use the advice to grow. It might not seem like it's something that you should do. It's scary. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel right. But in 3-6 months, I mean, you bet it's going to work because you're surrounded by coaches. So I think the biggest thing is who you surround yourself with, and then asking those right questions, and then actually taking action. Because I see a lot of people day after day, they ask questions. What do I do about this? What do I do about that? But they don't take any action. And it's the same questions week after week after week. So ask questions, take action.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, dude. Like, so many people listen to podcasts, they read a book a week or whatever, but like they don't take the action. And the impact that if you read only one book for the entire year, but you took all the action in the book that said, your business would be on a trajectory than if you read, 52 books in a year, right? One a week, and you didn't take any action. It's literally the action from one specific thing that can propel your business. So asking the right questions, but taking the right actions as well is, a huge component in your growth. And I think that, dude, you've freaking accelerated so much, man. But the thing I love about you is just, you're so humble. Like, at PaintCon, I was trying to tell you, like, dude, go for 3 million, go for 3 million. And you're like, no, 1.4, or like 1.5.
Yeah. I got to build some structure before we get up there.
I love that. And what's the infrastructure of your company looking like right now as like a 7-figure business?
Yeah, so we have one salesperson we're training in. We have a project manager that's been with us for about 9 months now.
Shout out to Joe.
And then one office admin. Yeah, Joe's awesome, man. He's crushing it. So then Joe, project manager, office admin. She just started with us. We've had a couple previous ones. New one just started. She's just like way more than I thought it was ever going to be. She's just crushing it. So really having rock star people, and then we're a full sub-based model. So all of our painters are subs, but they're not just random people we grab off the street. We work with them consistently. We're about 80% of their revenue comes from us. So we're constantly sending them work, keeping them in with us, keeping that stuff rolling. And now the next step is kind of, now that we're training a salesperson, once they get trained in enough to go out and sell, then it's a matter of, hey, what can we do in production? How can we systemize? How can we optimize this whole process? What can we do in the back in the office? What can we automate more? What can we systemize more? And then in sales, what trainings do we need to go through even deeper from just the level surface to be able to grow this thing? And having key leaders in these positions and writing down SOPs on, this happens, do this, this, and this. This happens, do this, this, and this. And then things of that actually happening and the results, I think, is going to be massive this year, because we don't have any of that. Like I was telling you in November, I mean, we didn't even have job descriptions. Like, what does a PM do? What does a office person do? I don't know. Go figure it out. So we finally have job descriptions. We have pay. We have what are you supposed to do? We finally have core values. Just the small stuff that, just takes time to do, but it's very important. So that's what the structure looks like, but it's going to continue to grow and be put together.
Yeah, that's something that's happened in my business too, dude. So like, you're not alone. It's, we have these positions, and I'm sure so many people can relate, but you have these positions, and you in your mind know what success looks like, but you don't have it on paper of what success looks like for the positions in your company. So how can you expect your people to accelerate or know they're doing a good job if you don't have it highlighted anywhere what success looks like in the specific position, or like what are the KPIs or things you're trying to push for? So what did you put for your PM position?
We wanted them to be about 5-6% of revenue. So we do $1,000 a week base, and then commission is based off of, what's our gross profit? Is it 40, 45, 45, 50? Like, we base off a percentage off of those. And then every time we get a Google review, if he upsells a project, if we're swamped in sales and he does a sales, call and runs an appointment, gets that done, he gets commission based off of all that stuff. So our goal is to have them at, 75 to 85,000 a year is right where we want to be at. And that's not something that I just came up with. I talked to him and I said, "Hey, what do you need? What do you need to survive? What do you need to figure things out to be comfortable? Because, I want you to grow and we want to pay you a lot more. But in this stage, if you're willing to, kind of figure things out with us, we start here and then we grow together and we'll both be making more pretty quick." So I think he's excited for that, and we're excited to do that as well.
Sick. So $1,000 a week base salary, so 52K per year base,
Yeah.
plus on target earnings of roughly 20,000 per
Yeah,
year.
I'd say probably 15 to 20. Yeah, it's right around there. And then upsells and the Google reviews and some sales appointments that he does helps kind of get you up to that 75 to 85 range.
Love it. And what happens if he upsells? Wait, like if you're, because he's not selling jobs, right? So if he's on site right now and the customer says like, "Oh, can you actually do my ceiling as well?" Um, does he sell that to them on the spot, or does he call the sales rep in? And what does that kind of look like?
Yeah, so what we do, part of our sales process is we always offer options. It's an excuse to downsell back to what they really want, but it's also an excuse for the PM to come in there and upsell back to that portion. Because we're usually a 4-week lead time. He can walk in and say, "Hey, I noticed these were, you didn't want to include these. We're already here. If I gave you $100 off or something, we already got the supplies. Why don't we just get it done for you?" And then they're like, "Oh, okay, okay, fine. Like, let's just do it." So being able to, in the sales process, write up options, leave them on the proposal as options. And then he comes in there, says, "Hey, you know what? Saw this, it's an extra 1,000." He gets an extra 3% of whatever he can upsell on top of the project.
Interesting. Okay, so sells it for 1,000. He gets, gosh, quick math, 30 bucks from
30.
that.
Yeah,
And
30 from
then
it. Yeah.
if it's, what if it's like a whole job? Like let's say it's like you do someone's exterior, right? And they're like, "Hey, like, can you actually do the interior as well?" Would he sell that too? Would you call the sales rep back in to kind of, structure that properly?
I think it definitely depends on the size. So if it's a bedroom or a bathroom, it's mainly if we already have the proposal written. Then it's more of like hey, this is the price for that area. Let's upsell that and get that in. If it's like, "Hey, we have a full exterior or full interior that needs to be done, or there's a ton of areas," okay, then it's the salesperson come in and get it done. But he was a salesperson before he joined us as a PM, a salesperson he was selling cars. So, and he understands our sales process. So if he is going to sell it and he's got time, he's going to sell it and just get it done. He can make a little bit more money. Then we don't have to send a salesperson out. They're already comfortable with him right there. He can write it up, be done with it, not have to worry about that. So that is helpful that he has that ability.
Love that. Love that. And you talked about systemizing, and part of that comes down to automations. I know you're a big automations guy. So
Yeah, for
tell
sure.
me, tell me some like really badass automations that you got in your business right now.
I think we looked for about probably 8 months to find a program where we could just like, "Hey, we need automations. We need to systemize this business. We need a backbone of the business. What are operations? What works? What doesn't work?" Couldn't find it anywhere. You got salespeople, sales gurus out there that do sales training, which is great. Like, they are awesome. You have some people helping with production. You have great marketing companies that we get to work with, Ford Media, and a bunch of that stuff. So it's like we have great people, but what do you do when you have these leads come in? You're selling projects. What does the sales or production look like? And it was just a mess. And I was like, no one has this. So we ended up creating it with Joel Marcato. We have a program that we put together. And basically what we're doing is the biggest struggle that we had is when you sell a project, how does your team know how to produce it? What are certain things that they need to know about that project? For example, if you're paying out 35% of $1,000 job and your salesperson comes in there, sells it at 1,000, you're going to pay 350 to your crew, right? Because 35%. Now, let's say you upsold that project. It was supposed to be 800, but you upsold it to 1,000. You're not going to pay 35% still. It's going to be more like 33% or 32%. Well, your production team would not know how much to give to your crew if you didn't tell them. They wouldn't know when they're thinking about scheduling if you didn't tell them. So every time a customer signs our proposal, it creates a Slack channel with that customer's name. and it sends in, this customer accepted a project for X amount, whatever they sold it for, and it came in through the lead source. So we have that. And then it says their customer name, sales to production form, color form. All you have to do is click on the link, you fill out the form, and it's got simple questions like what product did they want? What sheen did they want? What time do they want to start? What time did they say, hey, you can start in 4 weeks? Is it 6 weeks? Is this a project for next year? Where are they at with that? Price for the crew? What type of project is it? So now my production manager can look at that and be like, okay, this, and this, scheduling is this time, boom, done. He knows everything about the project. He doesn't have to load up our system, go into the project, look through the photos, look through the description. Your salesperson fills out the form, hits submit, goes right back into that customer Slack channel, which is super nice because then if there's any questions about the channel or about the customer, you look in the channel, you can see everything that's going on. And that's the same thing for a color form. And our office calls 2 weeks before and they say, hey, just wanted to collect your color form, go over our PTA form prior to arrival. They're basically two things into one. And they say, what time do you want the crew to start? What time do you want them to end? Can we use the bathrooms? Is there a good place for us to set up shop? What's your colors? What brand are they? What sheen are they? What product? Like all of that information. She fills out a form. She hits submit. It goes right back into the Slack channel. Every single piece of information that we need about that customer is in one place. So the production team knows about it. The crew knows about it. The other thing that's helpful about that is she copies that information of what time can we start, what time can we end, all that. She puts it into the customer's profile in the work order. So that way the crew knows the exact same things that we do. So the miscommunications of, hey, you're here at 7 a.m., what's going on? Or we don't want you to use the bathrooms. There's no weird things about it. There's no questions about it. Everything has been confirmed. And a lot of those things are automated into one place. So when we do our production meetings, every week before the job start, we go over the Slack channels. Hey, they're doing this, this, and this. This is what they're looking at. Boom, go on to the next job. We're not going into work orders trying to figure things out. That's a little bit more in-depth one that really helped with structure about knowing projects. But there's other simple ones. For drip jobs, there's card labels. So basically, if you press a card label and you put, question for Ryan, automatically I get a message in a Slack channel called question for Ryan. There's this person has a question about their project. There's, company cam gets automated, a company cam project. There's open phone, Ring Central, contacts get created automatically. There's spreadsheets of data that we use to make decisions. All that information gets automatically put in there. So we know how much our cost per lead is. So we know what our production schedule's at, our lead tracker, like all those sheets automated put in there. So I think having that program put together and a backbone, a true structure to your business is extremely important, because you can have every single piece of your business is working, but if you can't produce it right and your team doesn't know what you said in the sales consultation, your customers aren't going to be happy and your business is going to go from here and it's going to just tank. So really having that sales to production handoff system dialed, and it's not a 500,000, only $1 million company, 3 million, $5 million company can use that. If you're 100,000, if you're 50,000 and you sell a project, you better make sure you remember what you told them. Because then if you go back 4 or 6 weeks later, I'm not going to remember everything that I said. I don't think anyone could. But we do have a program that goes through all those automations. It goes through everything. If you look up Contractor Excellence on Instagram, there's a whole program that's dialed up. We have Joe Marcato put together a school program if you're looking to learn sales, production, anything, man. He changed my life completely. And now we get to repay other people and help them build structure in their business. So I just feel so blessed to be able to do that. I know it's kind of a lot of information, but I don't know. I think it's important. It's important to have a backbone to your business. You're kind of familiar with that, I feel like.
Yeah, no, 100%. We run our whole business on Slack for like communications internally and stuff. I'm just trying to think of ways, like more things that you can automate, right? Like there is literally any manual task that you have, odds are there's a way, unless it's like physical, right? Like physical labor, like painting a wall, like you can't actually do that. But technologically speaking, any manual task that you're currently doing, there's a way 100% to automate it, right? There are companies out there like Boolean and stuff like that that can literally automate your business and whatnot. But that's very, very complex. For someone who's like, let's say under 2 million, the Contractor Excellence School, absolute knockout. All the automations and systems that you guys have in there is an absolute knockout. I checked it out. Joel added me. It's huge in there. But I would say, dude, honestly, like even on the reminder standpoint, like, do you do check-ins with clients after you produce a job?
Yeah, so we have automations for that as well. We have automations so when they submit a project, so when customer signs project, let's say we do it on the spot and they sign the project, we look at our watch and we say, hey, in about 30 minutes or so, our project manager is going to reach out to you, just let you know who he is. And so you have a contact to go through the next steps of the process. He's probably in a meeting in 30 minutes with a customer. That's an automation that goes out to that customer. And they think, wow, this company, man, they're communicating back and forth. He's sending me a message. They really know what's going on, right? And it's automated. And then after the project starts, there's a message that goes out a day later. It says, hey, just wanted to check in with you, make sure everything's going in, make sure you're happy with our progress. Line, salesperson's name. So it's not like the salesperson sold the job, never see him again, hand it off to production. You don't know anything about it. No, we check in a day after the project starts. Project's completed. A week and a half later, a message from the salesperson's name says, hey, just wanted to make sure everything went smooth. You're still happy with our work. Any questions, anything like that, just let us know. We're here to help. We get the nicest messages back from that. Hey, thank you so much for checking in with us. I've actually referred you to a few other people. Your guys' communication was great. It's a deposit into the account of, hey, this is who we are. This is what we're doing. This is what we represent, communication. So many contractors they don't communicate. They don't let the customers know what's going on. They don't do anything. And it's a big red flag. I mean, if you have communication, customers know that your word of mouth is going to be massive.
100%. And the deposit into the bank is a deposit of goodwill, right? Like it's, you guys have nothing to gain from going back and doing touch ups and whatnot, but you're still automating that aspect. And they're getting that feeling like, wow, like they genuinely care about me. They reached out to me a week after, even though they got fully paid. Right. And one of our clients, what he does is, because like there's an old saying that says like a buyer is a buyer is a buyer. So if someone buys from you once, if they have a good experience, they're going to buy from you again. Right. So one of our clients, what he does is he personally calls or has their sales rep call and ask if there's any touch-ups. And he's like, let me just come by and check it out, whatever. Like if he needs a little bit of sales, like what he'll do is go through there, like his client list and go through and call clients, ask if they need a touch-up like 2-3 months later, whatever. And if they say yes, he goes and does touch-ups for free. No problem. It's goodwill, right? If they say no, still goodwill. If they say yes and he goes and does touch-ups, he's also going to try and maybe point out some other things they could possibly paint. Like, oh, I think you should possibly change this to this. Or, I'm noticing a little bit of peeling or fading on the exterior. Like, would you want us to take care of that too? All right. And then just like that, that's a new client from an existing client. Right. So like there's automation touch points and follow-ups that you can do just to like basically increase the LTV, like the lifetime value of each client, and not just like sell to them once, give them awesome experience and it's done, but like continuously kind of build them up that value ladder by giving like a better service and a better service and a better service every single time. But something, I don't know if you do this, but when you guys get like, personally, we have a wins channel in our Slack channel. So whenever someone leaves us a review or clients like crushing it, like what you had, the $100,000 week 2 weeks ago, like I screenshot it, posted in the wins channel, like celebrate the wins with the team. Every time you get a Google review or like good feedback, you should automate that so that the whole team sees like, it's like a hit of dopamine of like a Google review. Plus people see like, okay, like they're getting good Google reviews. Like we can get good Google reviews, increase our money as well, increase the brand, like things like that. But like automate like the reputation sending and then have like a wins channel. Have you thought of that or have you done that already?
So our automation, it doesn't go to a channel, it goes to a Google Sheet. And then we actually review it in person every week at our weekly team meeting. And we go over, hey, look at these wins that we had each week for the past week and look at what we were able to do for our clients. So we do go over that. It would be kind of cool to automate it to there. I have my accounts are different. So I need to switch my account to be able to automate it to my Slack account because they gotta be similar. So I got some stuff I got to change just on that. It's been kind of low priority, but it is pretty cool. It's good team morale as well. They know that, hey, the office doesn't really get to see anything. She just makes the phone calls, puts the data in. They got to be involved, and production doesn't get to see the sales process. They're just collecting checks and checking on the job, and sales never gets to see the job produced. They don't know how it went. So I think it's nice to have that, hey, because of every single one of you, this is what we got to give to our customers. And we truly care about that. You know, some people just want to collect the check and boom, they're done. That's it. It's like, man, I don't know how you stay in business. We actually care about people. So that's a big differentiator.
And exactly that's something I think that, differentiates you completely is like your follow-ups. Like I'm sure if you didn't have this automation or you didn't know if there was an automation to follow up a week after a job was completed, like knowing you would still go out and do that. And that level of care is just so transparent in you that like you genuinely care about. Maybe it's a Minnesota thing, dude. I don't know, but you
Minnesota,
genuinely
nice.
care about the clients, and that's huge, bro. But like, what would you say is, because you're in one of the most competitive markets, not in terms of how many painters, but because of the level of the industry painters that are in your market, right? Like you got Nick Slavic. I know you compete quite frequently on jobs with him. You got
Yeah.
Jason Paris. Like you got some of the biggest hit. You got the, what is it, the X chair and the new chair of the PCA in your area.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're competing and you're even coming ahead on some of the bids.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound like we're taking everything from, we're not even close. Every job that we've done against Paris and Nick, except like one or two, every bid that we've done, we've won every single one of them. So, and that's probably numbers wise, probably roughly 150K last year. So that was pretty, it feels good to us to be like, hey, these people they're established, they have great reputation, and they're solid companies. Like they are great people. I mean, I've never met someone nicer than Nick. Nick
I
is
know
phenomenal.
both
Yeah,
Jason and Nick are just super cool, man.
they are super chill people. Jason's great, and Paris Painting is awesome. They're great. They're great companies. So to be able to come in and be able to win that many, I mean, we maybe lost 10K to them, and it was Nick. It wasn't Jason's, or it wasn't Paris Painting. So to be able to come in and know that we are winning over them, and I'm not saying winning as like, hey, we won, you guys lost, stuff like that. I mean, there's plenty of work to go around. It all comes down to the sales process. And there's sometimes where our price is even more. We just had a project last week that we went to a house in Prior Lake, and super nice neighborhood. And he called me up this was a week later, and he says, hey, just want to let you know I had Nick out here. He was at 67. You're at 76. Can you match that? Where are we at? And I said, 7,300. Let's just call it a deal. Let's help you out. Get this done. He goes, all right, I'm in. And so it's not like we're cheaper. It's not like we're undercutting them. And it's not like we're a ridiculously amount over. Usually we're within 10%. 8 to 10% is usually where we're in with. So I think the biggest thing, I hear a lot of people say there's too much competition. There's too many painters. And dude, like for me, I mean, I got some of like you said, the biggest dogs in the industry right there. So I think that's massive, just knowing your process and being confident.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
there's two mindsets to go at it. Is there's too many painters or there's not enough houses, you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
not enough painters to service a level of houses, right? So
Yeah.
going on that abundance mindset definitely puts, things into perspective a little bit. Same as us, right? Like in the US alone, there's I think just over 175,000 painting contractors. We definitely do not have the infrastructure at Ford Media to service that level of
Yeah.
clients. You know what I mean? But going in that abundance mindset of like, if there is somebody in your market that is bigger than you, rather than saying like, oh, they don't do this right or they don't service you right. It's like, start looking at it as like, wow, okay, if they can do it, then I clearly see that it's possible. Then that means I could do it too. Like I'm happy for them because now they're showing me that it could be done.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And there's even times where, we'll come in and we'll say, hey, like, who are you getting another quote from? Because we always ask, like, hey, have you had anyone else take a look at this? Well, we maybe had Nick or Paris painting out. Okay. Well, how'd it go? Were you happy with their work? What were you happy with? What were you maybe not happy with? What did you not like that they said? Well, when we use it, we can know, okay, what did they do? What did they not like? Use that. And then it's not like we talk down on them. Like we literally, like I'll even say, hey, you know what? They're great companies. I don't think you could go wrong with any one of us. I think it's really going to come down to who do you feel the most confident with? Who do you trust the most to get your project done? Because I don't think either one of them will do a bad job, and I know we'll do a phenomenal job. It comes down to what you think. And when you build so much value with customers and you truly understand what are their needs, even if you're a few $100 higher, or even if you're $1,000, $2,000 higher, if you build up enough value for them to know, like, hey, these are my needs, and you really listen to what I needed, they're going to go with you every day. It's not about price. People always worry about, oh, my price is too low, my price is too whatever. Raise your prices, get your prices higher, but build more value with it. I think that should be said on every single podcast. Raise your prices, painters. Seriously.
Dude, 100%. Like we had a client that was like, oh, I'm booked out 4 or 5 weeks or whatever. And it's awesome. Like he's crushing it. Like he just hit his first $100,000 month. Like he's doing phenomenal. But Jason Phillips came in and he's like,
Yeah.
then raise your prices. Like I love it, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's so true though. Like if you raise your prices 10%, even 10%, like it could do astronomical things. Like were you in the coaching call with Jason that we did like I
I
think
was
2 weeks
there
ago?
80% of the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So he broke it down like on a spreadsheet, like pound for pound, if all you did in your business was increase 10%, what that would do to your net profit. And it was just insane, like the level of impact that just a slight increase of 10%. And clients don't know that, right? If you can build, if you could bridge that extra gap of 10% more, like in value, then I mean, clients will buy like if they feel like they're getting a better deal.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing is that some painters here, or painting business owners here, raise your prices. They go ahead and they jack their prices up. Okay, and they don't change anything else. That's not what these people are telling you. What they're telling you is do an extra phenomenal job for the customer and raise your price because you're the only one who's doing it. There are tons of unscrupulous contractors out there that do not take care of the customer. When you know in your heart and in your business that your core value is taking care of customers, you need to charge for that. You need to, if you know that you're going to caulk around every single window, you're going to seal these gaps, you're going to use a high quality product, you're going to use Duration, you're going to use Emerald Rain Refresh from Sherwin, or these other painters, they might caulk a couple areas. They're going to use A100, like the cheapest stuff possible. That raise your prices. The customer needs to pay for someone who's going to take care of them, because if they don't pay for it now, they're going to pay for the cheaper person. Then they're going to have to hire you back later on. And you're doing a disservice by not showing them the value that you have and the value that you can bring to them. And you're letting them go with the cheaper people, and it's not going to work out. Show the value, explain why you price more and charge more. I think that's the biggest thing. So many people are just like, oh, 20% raised. Oh no, I'm not getting any more customers. Well,
Yeah.
why are you 20% more?
Exactly. Exactly. And if you can kind of set the new standard for what it means to work with a painting company, everybody else that's not providing the level of service, like you will never have clients. If you deliver them an insane service, they will never want to backtrack and go to something less.
Yeah.
We work with so many clients that are like, oh, we've been working with like a local agency, whatever, right? But it's like the exact same comparisons working with a general contractor. Like, yeah, they can run ads. Yeah, a general contractor can paint a wall, but everything else that's entitled or, afterwards from that is just way better if someone that specializes in it, because we have the capability to invest more in delivering a better service. But dude, I think you're an absolute crusher. And I want to ask you two last questions. Okay, you ready?
All right. Yeah, go for it.
Pressure's on, dude. Pressure's on.
Yeah.
If you can put into one sentence the leading factor that got you from 6 figures a year to 7 figures a year as a painter, what would that sentence be, and what action can someone take from this podcast to do that?
Ooh, man, that's tough. I would say surround yourself with people who are where you want to be. And I think one sentence, surround yourself with people you want to be. I was surrounding myself with someone who's older, they writing paper quotes and no contracts, and coming in, hey, it's going to be about 5,000. Okay, here you go, figure it out. And I started hanging around with people that said, hey, it's going to be 5,359. And they got it exact. They know their numbers. They know their CPLs. They know everything about their business. They know what it needs to operate. They know everything. And I thought, wow, I'm doing this so wrong. Like I don't know anything. I became a sponge, like just taking this. What do you do with that? How do you work that? And then use that to take action. So surround yourself with people who are where you want to be, and you'll become them. That's for sure.
And who are some of these people that you surrounded yourself with that allowed you to get there?
Yeah, that's a great question. Our industry has tons of coaches, and someone just asked me the other day. They said, "Hey, I want to grow the rate that you did, and what coach can I sign up for? What coach can I sign up for right now to get where you want to be?" I just kind of want a business in a box, right? I want to be able to sign up and boom, it's done. Each coach is good at different things, right? You have coaches that are good at one's good at sales, one's good at mindset, one's good at business development, one's good at writing up a proposal and making sure your number's accurate. So I think the biggest thing is sales. You got Jason Phillips all the way. I mean, he will take your business and completely change it. If you want to dial in your numbers, know how many hours it's going to take you to complete a project and have your numbers accurate, your products and your surface levels, all that stuff. Aiden Smith, Paint Pro Coaching. I mean, he would dial in your production rates to make sure everything's accurate. And Justin Georgopoulos, door knocking, business. He does have some business structure of like, this is how you hire someone. This is how you screen them. This is how you work together. This is, he has a lot of that as well, not just door knocking. And my personal favorite, Joel Marcato, man. I mean, he is, anyone who can sign up with him, it will change your life. And he's not just a mind. He calls himself a mindset coach, which he is. But people think of mindset as, oh, change your mind on this, change your mind on that. Okay, whatever. But it's so much deeper. Like, he truly cares about everything that you're doing. And you hear a lot of these, coaching programs where you sign up, someone's there to help you once a week. You maybe do a meeting once or twice a week. You're on a group call. You get one call a week or a month that's one-to-one, and you kind of learn something, you kind of don't. Some of it's applicable, some of it's not. First thing that he asks you is, how are you doing today? What's going on in your business? What's going on with you personally? He doesn't just care about your business. He cares about how are you doing. And when you can have someone in your life that truly cares about, what are you doing and what's going on in your business, instead of, hey, in today's topic, we're going to learn about this, this, and this. If it applies to you, great. A lot of times it doesn't. So having him back there saying, okay, what's going on? What do you feel? What are your feelings? What's going on in the business? Tell me everything. This is what you need to do. Okay. I went and did it right away. There's no question. No, oh man, is that going to work? Can we do that? Week goes by. Hey, did you do it? I'm still kind of thinking about it. No, it was, he tells me by that evening or the next day, whatever it is, it's done, it's completed, and it's whatever it is, it's done, completed. Because you can't wait to take that extra action. If you wake up 2 hours earlier every single day, I mean, you have weeks, if not months, of more time to put in your business to make things happen if something needs to happen today. So I think having people like that, Jason Phillips, sales, Aiden Smith, production rates, Justin Georgopoulos, he's great at hiring, door knocking program. He's got a great school program. Joel Marcato, he has a phenomenal school program. He's got a bunch of things on there, mindset, knowing more about the brain and how sales works and how people operate, what people think about, how to leadership. What is your leadership team doing? What are your painters doing? How do you all work together better? We have a great program on automation inside of Joel Marcato's school program, Contractor Excellence, looking to automate your business, get that stuff done so you don't have to do as much in the day-to-day. Those are some of the massive ones. And then just friends, like being able to meet you and Sam and Angel and, all these other people that, are like Russell Peach. I mean, like that guy is so smart. Like it's wild. There's all these people that are better than me and know more. Surround yourself with those people. Goes back to that one sentence. Surround yourself with people where they are where you want to be, and you just hang out with them, become them. So hopefully
100%.
that answers your question.
It does, 100%. And I think, pulling back the curtain on that is recognizing that the biggest aspect of the trajectory of your growth, like your business growth, is really comes down to you as a person.
Yeah.
And people
Amen.
don't have business problems; they have personal problems that show up in their business. And if you're able to unlock like that internal potential that you have, or just like remove those limiting mindsets, then everything else after can fall into place. But if you're developing your sales team, or you're bringing on, A plus players onto your team and whatnot, but like you as a leader are falling short every single time, you will not retain that, and you will basically hit burnout. But if you can unlock like the true potential, so it's working with Joel. It's like, it's not just mindset. It's really understanding like, what is my true potential, and removing all of those limiting mindsets to kind of set the foundation for growth, because a castle built on sand is going to crumble.
Yeah. Yeah. He sets you up for success in every way. I mean, like I owe a lot of it to him, man. Like if anyone's looking to grow, if it's 0 to 1 million, if it's 1 million to 5, anywhere in between, man, 5 to 10. I mean, anything. I would like Joel was massive for me. If I didn't have him, I wouldn't hit 1 million. I guarantee you that. Even all the strive that I had, all the hard work that I did, none of it would have been gonna happen if it wasn't for him.
I agree.
It's massive.
I think that there's three things that any business needs. It's number one, a software, right? You have to have basically some information, not doing all your estimates on paper. Number two, a business coach. And number three, a pipeline full of leads. Like those are literally the three things that will set you up for success in any way that you need, right? But last question here, Mr. Pettis. Dude, 1.2 last year. At PaintCon, you were telling me hovering around 1.4, 1.5. The start of the call, or before the call, you're telling me, sometimes goals got to change. What's the target for 2025, brother?
I think a lot of people look at targets as revenue. A lot of people are like, oh, what's your revenue going to be? What's your revenue goal? And that's not really what we're looking at this year. We want our revenue goal. It's important. Don't get me wrong. Like it's important to have a revenue goal. It's 1.5. Now we'll probably hit 1.8. We might hit 2, but that's just because of what we're doing is working. But that's not our goal. Like that's not what we're striving for. Our budgets are all set for 1.5. If we go beyond that, that's fine. I don't care about going past our goal. If we're short, it's no good. But I think this year is focusing on internal structure. Our goal is to have a really, really solid base, a solid team, solid people, systemized operations where, PM, this is when this happens, we go do these steps. Everything needs to be written down. So that way someone can come into the business and we can add a production manager, add a salesperson. They automatically know what to do. We can have a full training program on what to do that they can just watch and learn from, versus trying to take a whole week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to try and train them on what they need to do. So I think this year is focused on structure, people, and then gross profit. So last year we barely even looked at gross profit. I mean, we job cost every job. We're sitting at 48, 49%, which is 47% on some, which is, it's decent. It's not horrible, certainly not good. And for this year, we're shooting more towards that, like 53, 54%. And then next year, we want to be able to get up to that kind of 58%, 60% if we can. What we want to do is build a solid base of customers. So, hey, we're not going to always hit the best profit margins. Sometimes we will give out discounts to get the job, to get something else down the line, to work with them again and have the opportunity to service the customer. So this year is really focused on that. I think that's really important. And it's awesome to sell, I was just looking at our numbers the other day, and 2 weeks ago we produced, just call it 20,000. And this week, the last week we produced 23,000. And I looked at our gross profit. We produced an extra 3,000. We only made another $200. Where the number, if you sell whatever, it doesn't matter. It's truly in your gross profit. So that's what we're focused on this year, identifying, okay, our gross profit was off here. What do we need to do to fix that in the future? This job was off. What do we need to do to fix that? Some people just track their gross profit. They don't do anything about it. Hey, it was at 40. All right, well, let's try and get it done next time, get it done faster. Why don't you identify, was it a sales issue? Was it a production issue? Was it a paint issue? Was it touch-ups? What was it that caused that to go over? I'm a big numbers guy. So when I can look at those numbers and understand them and shift them around, it's massive. A lot of goals this year, but revenue wise, yeah, probably 1.5, but we're already on track to do like 1.8. So we'll see what happens.
Love it, dude. Well, Pettis, you're an absolute crusher. If anyone wants to get in contact with Ryan, I'm going to drop his, do you want your Facebook below?
Instagram would be
Okay.
awesome.
Perfect. I'll drop Ryan's Instagram below in the description. And then I'm also going to drop the link to there's Joel and Ryan's school course where you can see, you know, a lot about the foundations that Joel helps set up in your business and a lot of automations that Ryan deploys in his business. And then that way you can get set up for success to go from 6 figures to 7 figures, or, you know, 7 figures to multi 7 figures and beyond. So Pettis, dude, you're an absolute crusher. I appreciate you and everything you do, and fired up to see how big 2025 is for you.
Awesome. Me too, man. It's a pleasure as always. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.